Now I'm delighted to be joined by Littlehales, who's a sleep coach from Sleep Athletes. Thank you for joining us this morning, Nick. Now, first of all, myself and I'm sure a lot of viewers at home aren't too sure what a sleep coach is and what they can actually do for us. So can you just explain that a little bit more?
Like many coaches, it's basically looking at somebody's lifestyle, looking at what they do, what their occupation is. I particularly work in professional sport, so I'm looking at what the athletes do in every single way. There's a lot of time poor recovery time at the moment, as been touched on before here today. Trying to sleep in a very short space of time without too much knowledge, and with the tools available for you today, you can use different techniques to actually maximise and optimise the way that you actually sleep. So basically, I'm a way to lead somebody into learning about sleep and how to adapt and apply that in their sport.
Now, you mentioned there that you do a lot of work with athletes. You work with Olympic athletes. You've worked with a lot of football teams, haven't you? We've got Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United, and Liverpool. So you really are working with, the cream of the crop there. And does the amount of sleep really have a massive effect on their performance?
Yeah, I think when you look at all the various measurement tools that they have, particularly things with Prozone and we gain technology into sport, they can actually measure exactly what an athlete does during any particular game or period. That data is used and analysed to see how well they've actually performed at that particular time. So if you've seen somebody who's been able to record that they've had a poor period of sleep or a poor night's sleep, that could be physically and mentally. So their speed across a particular short space, 3 or 4 meters, their turning ability, their heading ability, or just their cardiovascular performance can be registered and related back to how they actually slept.
Now, those of us at home who aren't quite Olympic athletes just yet, but still the amount of sleep we have just in our daily lives is hugely important, isn't it?
It's becoming even more important because, like I say, this sleep has 2 natural periods, one in the afternoon, one in the nocturnal period at night. And we're trying to cram our recovery period into that night period. But with all the various other technology that we have and social networks, we see that in sport they're overtraining. They're doing too much every day. They're pushing the barriers. There's a natural drop in your cortisol levels, your natural energy hormone around 11 o'clock. So you should be trying to sort of plan to get to sleep at around that particular time just before to get the balance of all the 90-minute cycles within a normal plan. But we push past that. Social networking, emailing other parts of the world, these sort of things impact on that. So we're trying to sleep in a much shorter period of time and not that well. Right,
now there's a whole host of various things you can suffer from with sleep that can affect those 8 hours are meant to get. First of all, is it 8 hours you'd recommend?
It depends. It's sort of, I look at basically 90-minute cycles. So you could have 4, 5 or 6, which is basically 6, 7.5 or 9. But it's about an 8-hour period that's going into and coming out of sleep with 7.5 hours actually asleep.
Now, what about those people that are struggling to get any sleep at all? If you're suffering from insomnia, what do you recommend for the people at home who are struggling with that?
There's basically there'll be a number of things going on in their particular lifestyle which will be adding up to creating that particular position where they can't actually sleep. One little product that I see you've got here, which is a straightforward pillow made of fibre encased, which everybody will be aware of. But one thing that's added to that,
it's a bit unique, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit unique because it's got a hidden micro speaker inside, and you can connect this up to any sort of MP3 or handheld. And in the right hands and used professionally, this can actually help for people to get into sleep if they're struggling with anxiety and stress, or actually if they wake during the night, it can help get them back into sleep.
That's something really important, isn't it? It might be very well dropping off initially, but a lot of people struggle to sleep straight through. You don't often get continuous undisrupted sleep, do you?
No, there's a lot of people with lots of awakenings, whether that's bathroom visits or just being woken by noise or temperature and things like that. So something like this, because it'll give you the head comfort and support that you require, but also it gives you a sound-induced sleep state. It can take what the external in the bedroom and the noise, it can take you away from that and put you down in there. So if you choose the right noises, things like white noise and things.
What noises would you choose? So you can plug it into your MP3 player, but I'm taking it you wouldn't play your normal rock or party music. There'd be certain sort of genres really that you should focus on.
You do try to avoid things that are stimulating to the brain to keep it makes it alert. So, classic things like running water, white noise, which is a very low, constant drone, a bit womb-like. other things like whales singing to each other.
Would running water not make people want to use the toilet possibly? Or
Possibly.
some people find that
like
relaxing?
I say, you do have to find, there's always some sort of sound. I mean, one of my clients basically, because the whole process of reading the last story to their children,
Right.
which is the last thing at the end of the day, which is a very calm, tranquil thing, there's lots of love and care there, is that they basically just got the kids to read that chapter. So he's listening to their kids reading the chapter,
lovely.
which immediately, as soon as he hits this,
Yeah.
whatever's going on in here and everywhere else, even with partners or strange environments or at home, is as soon as he hears that, then it basically is taking you to a place that's got so much association with the end of the day, warmth, care, security.
So is it also like routine as well? Like you say, if he initially thinks when reading a story, he links that to then that's the end of the day, that's time to sleep.
Yeah.
It's all about patterns, isn't it? It's all about routine.
It's totally about rhythms and patterns. The sleeping program is all about, and that's exactly how they would use that in that particular case, as well as if there's a very sort of high active period, like before a particular event, or when they're going towards the Olympics now, you can't change the time of when something's going to happen. You've got to perform at your peak. So they struggle to sleep at all. So by using tools like that, they know that they can get into a sleep cycle quite quickly, as you say, with the rhythm and routine, go through a couple of cycles, come out of it and feel rejuvenated to go. I mean, round the world sailors would use things like this because they can't control when they're going to sleep. They just have to sleep at the flick of a switch.
So you're sort of controlling the environment almost, because like you say, you can't always choose where you're sleeping. Possibly if you're going away, if you're in a hotel or on business,
that's right.
It's not your own bedroom, so you don't feel possibly as comfortable, but you can recreate things that make you feel more comfortable.
Absolutely. And there's one area which I come across a lot in sport, which is sleeping partners. And it's a natural thing that we all do, but it's becoming more and more obvious to a lot of couples where there's somebody's doing one job, maybe an athlete, somebody's doing another one, they've got different times with their works or children,
isn't it?
Is that actually the stigma about sleeping separately is something that other generations would have labelled you as being a little bit quirky or not natural, but not in today's world. And you've got a lot of people who do actually treat their sleep as something that's important to them, mentally and physically, and they will sleep separately and have very good productive lives. So whether it's sport or not, you have to consider your partner when you're sleeping together with products and inside your bed.
And then if you both have a good night's sleep, hopefully be less arguments and less conflict in the rest of the day, so it could all work out very, very well.
Absolutely.